Our next speaker needs no introduction. You've either heard from friends or experienced his bluntness firsthand. I'm glad to introduce Professor Michael Montalbano.
Hi. Okay, today we're going to start out with a list of the top 10 commencement speakers of all time. Seriously, where to begin? First, a huge thank you for asking me to speak today. It's a privilege, and I'm touched that you thought I might actually have something interesting to say. On the other hand, maybe you figured I wouldn't have anything interesting to say and you could take a quick nap. Realistically, I've taught close to 300 of you, and I've had hours to tell you everything I thought you needed to know. So I was a little stumped about what more I could possibly say to you when I realized I could just go back to that old standby, talking about me. It's one of my favorite things to do anyway. Long time ago, I went to a small school in Dubuque, Iowa named Loras College. None of you probably heard of it. Hell, I think there's people in Dubuque who haven't heard of it. The enrollment was a little under 1,000 when I was there. That's the total enrollment, not the senior class. While it would be a nice story to say that I was the valedictorian, the class president, involved in all sorts of activities, had multiple killer internships, it would be just that, a story. In reality, my grades weren't very good. Sorry. I wasn't involved in any clubs or activities. I never had an internship. But you know what? I had a great time. I made friends I still see multiple times a year, even though we're scattered all around the country. My graduation was in May. At least I assume it was, because I really don't remember it. I think it was outside. What I do remember about that May is that I needed a job. And I remember it took me forever to get a job, until the beginning of December, actually. Why was that? I refused to take any job, just any job. I wanted to get the right job, the job I wanted to do. Doesn't mean I just sat around chilling. I had to hustle and make money because I was getting married, and I did. I meant to mention this. Did I say that I was a marketing major? This job I finally got. Best possible job ever for me. Didn't care about the money, but I will admit that when they offered me $12,000 a year, I was feeling pretty wealthy. Had a great boss, a great company. I learned so much it was well worth the wait. Started me down a path that I never would have dreamed of, and honestly, I didn't even know it existed. The 6 months it took me to find it, completely immaterial. Forgot about that by Christmas, and it never came up again the rest of my career. Eventually, I left that company, went to work for a bunch of other businesses doing different things, most of the time in merchandising, advertising, marketing roles. I worked in little 50-person companies, private companies, companies going through IPOs. I was a VP and officer in a multi-billion-dollar, multinational Fortune 500 companies. Even ended up president and CEO for a while. So how is that relevant to you? Why am I up here telling you this? I want to make sure you know it's probably going to be okay wherever you're going next week. You need to chill out if you want. You know what? Tell career services to quit sending the emails, okay? You're done with the guilt at this point. Why? Why do I say that? Well, let's compare you to me. You're all graduating from a school way better than where I did. Your grades are better. You've had internships. You've been in leadership positions. In short, you're way more apparatus than I was. Not to mention how much more nimble you are. And contrary to what the Rate My Professor article may say, you were taught by a way better faculty than I was, okay? You guys are going to be just fine in the end. Wait a sec, that's really not fair to say. You're going to be better than fine if you just remember a few key things along the way, right? Would not be an official commencement speech if I didn't give you a list of things, somehow. So number one, have fun. Have as much fun as you possibly can. Life's too short not to. I have had some gloriously good times in my life. Things I really can't talk about here and now, just given the audience. Did I remember this have fun thing all along the way? No. Did I have people reminding me about it? Yeah. Did I listen to them? Not nearly as often as I should have. Why not? I was too busy trying to accomplish stuff. Did it work out okay in the end? Yeah. Not really because of me, but because of my lovely wife, St. Sue. Simple reason that I did it. Not saying that life is going to be fun 100% of the time. That's just not realistic. But I encourage you to try and make whatever it is you're doing as fun as it can possibly be. And if you can't make it fun, you might want to consider doing something else. Did you guys have a good time in the Bahamas? Thanks for inviting me. Very thoughtful of you. Was that like the best week of your life? Okay, so here's a challenge for you, okay? Within 10 years, I want you to be able to make a list of the top 10 weeks of your life, and last week doesn't even make the list, okay? That is a hell of an achievement. Number 2, be intentional. Make decisions and choices. Don't just end up somewhere. Have a plan for almost everything. It's okay if your plans change. That's natural. You're going to get new information. But most of the time, you're going to end up having more fun, making more money, being a better person, helping more people if you consciously decide what you're setting out to do. Spontaneous is fine. It's just not the best way to maximize life. And at the end, don't you want to die a long time from now saying, I have no regrets, I lived my life to the fullest? Number 3, believe in something. Baccalaureate has its origins in religion, and obviously we're hitting a prayer from a lot of them today. Something you'd probably never guess about me. I'm actually very religious. Try to start every day praying the rosary with my wife. Trust me, all of you are going to become more religious down the road than you are today. Inevitably, it happens when you get married and start to have kids. My advice, don't wait until then. And while I may be a strong believer in Catholicism, I don't care what faith you belong to or you want to follow. Just find one. Follow it diligently. Do it sooner rather than later. I think you'll be amazed at the comfort and the calm that it will bring to your lives. Many of you have heard me talk about my lovely wife, St. Sue. She's here somewhere now, watching, listening, most likely trying to hide, because she has no idea that I'm talking about her. By the way, I did not send her a thank you note after we went out the first time. I had a really, really hard time trying to remember her phone number, and I had 2 friends helping me. It does bring me to number 4, though. Always do what's best for you and your family. You can't lose sight of what needs to be your number 1 priority in life. There's no better way to sort out those hard decisions by looking at them through that view. Is that selfish? Maybe. Is it wrong? I don't think so. Sue's a magnificent person, the best I've ever known. She's my best friend. If we make decisions based on what's best for us, I know I can't go wrong. Without her in my life, I would never have accomplished what I did. I'm not the most successful guy by any means, but I did okay given where I started from. Youngest of 6 kids, only one of my parents graduated from high school. Every time I started to veer off the tracks a little bit, and you know what? It used to happen pretty frequently. Sue was there to help me get squared away and to realize what was important in my life. She's made me a better person in every sense of the word. She's been doing it for over 36 years. No matter how many times a lesser person would have given up. On top of helping me be better than I could have ever been by myself, or with anyone else for that matter, she raised 3 spectacular kids. Can I claim any of the credit? Not sure. I'd like to claim some, maybe just a tiny little bit. But now I have 3 more people to consider in my decision making. And it actually makes it easier, not harder, because nothing's more important to me than my family. And incredibly rewarding too, because I feel like all 3 of my sons have already surpassed everything that I've done in my entire life in terms of being good people and so many other things. I could stand up here for hours telling you how proud I am of them. So yes, I make sure to do what's best for them when I make decisions. Number 5, don't forget. Remember the people, the places, the things, the successes, the failures, the wins, the losses, everything that makes life so damn awesome. And I certainly wouldn't mind if you remembered me, maybe not this little speech, which definitely is never going to make a top 10 list for anything. But maybe someday you're going to need some help from a cranky old man, and you'll say, hey, Mano Abano will be honest with me. I just really not pronounce my own name right? You know where to find me. Let me pull this all together. Let's review those 5 things and see if I followed my own advice this year. Did I have fun? Oh, hell yes. Especially when you guys started engaging each other over some of the life and career issues we discussed. Was I intentional? Came to class every day with a hell of a plan, even down to some of those stupid jokes, only to have you guys change my plan because you had a better one. So we were spontaneous. Believe me, there was a lot of stuff we talked about. I had no idea where it was going. It scared the crap out of me. Do I believe? Yes. I believe fervently in God, but I also believe just as strongly in you guys, in your ability to go out and kick whoever's ass you want to. Do what's best for me and my family? Probably a little too much on the me, but absolutely. Don't forget, best part of this job is remembering my students, staying in touch with them. I like you guys. I like talking to you. I like talking with you even more when I don't have to be so politically correct and I can tell you what I really think. So that's it. I don't claim to have all the answers. I'm not sure if this is what you hope to hear when you ask me to speak, but I do hope I planted a couple seeds that'll cause you to think. And if that's true, I'd be very, very happy. Thank you very much. Have an incredible last night as college students.